I'm very excited that I get to work with this beautiful medium pony mare. We are going to teach her to jump to be a next step up show pony for the owner's daughter. I like to start off everything super simple and easy, inviting them to move to the jump. Nothing too crazy, straight lines, so we can build balance and to be able to even get stronger to build them up for lead changes and creating a good jump. So we warmed up, walk, trot both ways with her. She is now under saddle for 4 days with me, and we started off with ground pulls before moving up to cross rails with our jumps and just teaching her to want to step up and move forward over the ground pulls. When they first start with the ground pull work or jump work, they just don't understand. They don't understand what we're asking for. They don't understand the balance that they need to hold and maintain. And they also get a little bit worried with where their feet go, because a lot of the horses, they are wanting to please. So we keep everything simple. Ground pulls first, trotting ground pulls. With the jumps, even if your horse or your pony is scared of flower boxes or flowers, we start off with them being okay on the ground, walking over them, being okay walking between them. And the great thing about this little mare is she was pretty solid and brave with the flower boxes. She didn't quite understand the trot pulls and trotting over the flower boxes, just because she didn't understand how and where to put her feet and how to maintain balance going through them. So we make sure that we create balance and create them being very brave and understanding where to put themselves to go through the ground pulls, and then we slowly start to move up into a cross rail until we feel confident with their job with the cross rail. So she's been great. She was it was super windy outside when the doors or windows did kind of slam down hard, making noise, and it kind of startled her. But otherwise, after that one time, then she was okay with all the windows kind of slapping on the side of the building with the wind. It's crazy windy today. And she got over it quite quickly. So I didn't want to rush her or do too much of my warm-up. Like I said, we did a little bit warming up starting off, just because she's only again been 4 days under saddle, so she kind of runs out of a gas pedal a little bit quick, and I don't want us to lose the positive side of our exercises and what we're working on today. I don't want her getting sour to anything. So if that means if she's super good starting off, does everything, perfect, we kind of settle with that and reward with that, because then I know next time when she steps out and we work on, ground pull work and balance work and jumps, that she's going to be willing to do it right away. And she did fabulous starting off this line going home. She trot in. I had a loose rein because I wanted her to understand that she needs to take me to it. She jumped up over it and then went through the line in a nice straight line, and then jumped over the second fence. And then I asked for a little left lead canter after the ground pull on the back side, because I want her to encourage to canter out and canter forward. Nothing rushing or racing. She's got a good mind on her. We started her correct with the jumping, that we don't rush anything. So a lot of the problems I see with riders when they start jumping the horses start getting rushed. And that's because the horse isn't balanced. It doesn't understand how to get through the line in the jump. So they start to rush because they're off balance and they don't quite understand where to put themselves and their feet. So we want to make sure that we take everything one step at a time. So I went to go pick up the right lead after that line, and she picked up the left. So we just take our time. We don't get after. We take our time because I probably just didn't cue her quite right, or she wasn't just paying attention to me. So we take our time with that, and we canter out quietly. Everything we do is quiet. We don't want to rush anything. We want to take our time. And she gets rewarded for that. So she did both great, both ways. She's got it when she was going up to the mirror off her right. She kind of likes to drift a little right with the shoulder and the body. And that could be because the gate is behind us and she's wanting to go to the gate. They all kind of you'll start to find their little like ways to getting out of working and going to the gate. So you just take notes of that so it's something you work on next time. So we trotted in again. She was nice, and we landed and we cantered out. And that's what I'm looking for, is us landing and cantering out. And I want to build up and hopefully maybe be able to canter, jump in, trotting, jumping in, and then canter to the next jump. And I allow her to do it all slowly. I don't want to get after because I don't want her to find a reason to have negative to jumping. And I always encourage everyone, if you have a horse that's going to look at a jump or stop out at a jump, not to take a bat and not to spank them for it, because you don't want to associate jumping as a negative thing. And we almost got a canter. She drifted a little bit there. And we tried to land the lead and canter out, but she didn't quite get it. But we got the canter lead there at the end of the ring. So I'm going to be happy with that. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm just going back and forth with the exercise and not losing my impulsion forward. So I decided, because she was good, I think one of them I decided to canter in and see what she'd do. And she just kind of was like, well, I don't know what to do. And that is okay. But we have ground pulls to help us out, so that she stays round and wants to jump up. So I decided to go to this diagonal one, and she marched up, she jumped, and she landed, and she cantered out nicely, and I'm going to reward her for that. That's what I'm looking for. I want her to go in, taking me to it softly, slowly taking me to it, but having that energy and that want to do the jump. That's what I'm looking for. And she wanted to canter a little bit there, and whoop, jumped, and then we went and picked up a right lead, and I'm going to reward her for that because she got the correct lead, what I was asking for. So I was really, really happy with that. She jumps cute. She puts effort in. It's like, try to canter that. And she's like, I don't understand. And that is okay. And I'm going to trot her, and then I'm going to pick up the correct lead. Everything we do, we make sure that we always have the correct lead. Okay, we repeat so they understand what they're supposed to do around the ring. Right now, there's no need to count or canter anyone. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for simple, straight balance. That's what I'm looking for. And when I feel solid with everything, that's when I start to introduce the lead change. But if we're not solid and very technique on our cues and our feet, then I'm not going to ask for lead changes. We do the lead changes over pull work first and build up. So I decided to canter in and see what happened. She kind of drifted a little right there, still jumped in nicely. It was like, didn't know where my feet were. Just because she drifted off to the right there, that made that line a little bit funky, and we missed the base to that ground pull because she likes to drift a little going down that line. But I still pushed her forward because she's going to learn, and she will eventually stop the drifting with me. So I just pushed her forward and said, okay, well then we have the ground pulls and the jump. You're going to have to figure out your feet. And she was really smart with that. And she corrected herself and continued on. So that's what I'm looking for there. So going back again to this little green box, purple flowers. And I wanted the correct lead. And I could have been leaning a little bit to the left on that. That's why she landed with the right lead. Over time, she's going to get stronger and more fit and more balanced and figure out her job, and that won't be an issue. Are we cantering into this one? She cantered in nicely. I was super happy with that. There we go. And she cantered out. Fabulous too. Very smart mare. Very, very intelligent. I was very happy with that. And reward her for that. She has like a little quirk with when you touch her, and she gets a little bit surprised with the touch. So I just make sure, like, throughout my rides and even when I'm done, I'm always kind of touching her all over, just so that we start to desensitize her to that, so we don't have any surprises with anything. And she got a little tired. She gets tired kind of quickly on me, so I give her a little break and then we regain. Again, everything I do with them, you know, every horse is different and every ride each day is different. You got to learn to feel what you have that day and work with it. So I really want to focus on straight here because she likes to drift right, and she did a good job. I held, and she even wanted to land. She actually wanted to land that right lead, but she kind of bulged the shoulder a little right on me, and I corrected that because I don't want her to learn to dip after the jump and just kind of turn when she wants to turn. But she did well. I opened my outside rein there and I held my right rein so she can't bend her nose on that trot. And then we cantered in, and you can tell she just likes to get a little bit, she likes to get a little bit so stepping in with the rib cage to the right and that right shoulder as well, that she's not really paying attention. So I'm just going to keep kind of pushing her through it until she understands. It's just be easier to listen to my rider aboard. So we canter in, and she likes to get so wiggly here. Good, and there. And she figured it out a little bit better. And that's just, you know, the greenness of jumping there and her understanding she can't just want to go back to the gate. You know, we're going away from home, and she's trying to drift a little to the gate over here, and I'm not going to allow that. So I stopped her and I rewarded her for that. She was so good with that. And, you know, moving up to this is the fourth day of me being able to ride her. It wasn't this pretty. I mean, the ground poles weren't that pretty when starting off, and even just moving through the ground poles, it was kind of a hot mess. But we take our time. We keep working with it. We reward for when they are fabulous and when they're good and when they're trying to understand. We reward for that. And then we continue on to what's next. And she's so smart. She caught on quickly with everything. And that's when I know that she's ready to move up to the cross rails. And maybe that first time in doing the cross rails, it's not going to be fantastic. Expect that. They're never fantastic starting off. It takes a few times for them to understand exactly what we're doing and what we're asking for, and them to hold themselves and them to balance and them to feel confident and comfortable in it. So just, you know, remind yourself of that. It just doesn't happen overnight. And start with ground poles. Please start with ground poles. Don't start into the jumps. So I ended that on a trot jump because she was so good that day. We're not going to push it. There's no need to push it. We just end on it. So I know tomorrow that she's going to be even better, and we're going to progress faster, and we're not going to hound them into the ground while doing that. So I hope this video really helped you guys out. If you have any questions, please ask. Happy to answer them. Again, thank you, my sponsors, My Bellamute.